Hello. Good evening. I have to admit I am not yet used to working with StreamYard, so Ana, Abby Jean, hi, how's it going? I'm having a time of it. I'm warm, hence the cold pack. I'm having a time of it because we have now, because of daylight saving time, we have reached the point in the year where sunset is at 6:59. So setting up the lighting was a little tricky. Tonight we're talking about mysteries, and I think Megan was joining us, but I don't see her. Here she is. Hello, Megan. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yep.
Okay. Can everybody see and hear Megan?
Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah. It's just like like a few minutes. I mean, like not even a few minutes, like 1 minute. So we've got Ana and Abby Jean.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. If you see somebody making a comment you want to respond to, just go ahead. Don't
right.
wait for me. Oh, wait. I need to figure out how to put the comments on screen. See, I think I just click on the comment. Yeah. So good evening from Ana. Abby Jean waved hi. And Abby Jean said hello. And Ana said yes when I was asking if everybody could be seen and heard.
Awesome.
Anyway, so I was just explaining that I'm struggling with lighting because this is the time of year when sunset is at 6:59 today.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like trying to figure it out and it's not going well.
No.
I was like, why is everything so bad? And I was like, uh-oh, hang on a second. Somebody pinged me on Discord. What? Oh, okay. I don't know what that was, but.
And I need to put headphones in. You don't hear my dog.
Whoa. Okay, so that was a struggle. There was much wailing and gnashing of teeth and etc.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, how are you doing today?
Good. I've had a little bit of a busy day between work and wedding prep stuff.
Yeah.
Got timeline figured out for the reception, so that's good, and more appointments made and more emails sent. So
I'm just like picturing a timeline. It's like everybody arrives, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then you have like I can just see even down to the second you have it when Uncle Carl is going to like curl up and go to sleep under the table because maybe an open bar was a mistake.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just tired.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That audio is better, Megan, just so you're aware.
Oh, good. So the mic works better. Good. That's good to know, actually.
To me, you sound like really loud, so I hope we're balanced out okay. Do I need to yell?
Is that better?
I don't know. It sounds very soothing.
Oh, okay.
Got an ASMR thing going on.
Hello.
Okay.
Welcome.
Well, I went out yesterday and got corned beef and cabbage from the Hot Bar at Adams Market in Deep River, Connecticut.
Yes.
Deep River chips, by the way. I don't know if you have those, but Deep River chips.
Always assume we probably don't.
No. Deep River chips, which many people in the United States have access to, started in Deep River, Connecticut. Abby Jean says, you both sound normal to me.
Good.
But then she has a little smile, so I guess that just means the volume and not what we're actually saying. Anyway, so we had leftover corned beef sandwiches today. I got it at the Hot Bar, so I didn't want to like reheat it. So we had it yesterday, and anyway.
Nice.
Okay, so are we ready to talk about getting into mysteries?
Yeah, I've got my stacks all here.
I have 2 stacks. They're not very high, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess first off, like Soccer and I both found out like getting into mysteries, there's sort of two branches you can go down. There's like the darker thriller that you'll talk about, and then there's more like the cozy stuff that I'll talk about.
I mean, there are actually more branches than that you can go down.
Yeah.
You can go into like, if you're a science fiction reader, you can go into science fiction. I was not able to get a hold of a copy of it in time, but and this is also a good entry point for the mystery lover who wants to get into science fiction, and that is Caves of Steel by Isaac Asimov, which is from the 50s, and it was kind of classic science fiction mystery. I understand. Well, Asimov kind of had a reputation, especially at that time in his life, for being more interested in ideas necessarily than like super tight plotting. So I think that's really, I think I'll save that bullet for when we start to talk about science fiction, getting into science fiction. Yes. So here's the thing. There's some kind of echo going on.
For you? No.
Oh, I know what it is. It's me. It's on my end. There.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I accidentally still had YouTube open for some reason.
Oh, so you're hearing double.
I'm like, oh, what? Why? Megan, your headphones are not foolproof. And I'm like, oh no, it was me. Totally me all along. Right. Okay, so anyway, so there are different ways you can get in. There's romantic suspense, of course. And of course, a lot of the historical romances we read have mystery plots to them or a mystery element, particularly if you're getting into like one of the ones that I recommended for the 12 Wrecks by 12 Friends in 12 days or whatever it was.
No, I think it's just 12 Wrecks by 12 Friends. So
or 12 Wrecks for 12 Friends. I can never quite remember what the preposition is. And the Paid Companion, which is the one a lot of people are picking up as the one that they're the one of my 12 that they chose for the one that they're probably going to read, or at least give it a shot. That's got a mystery element to it. And a lot of the other Amanda Quick, the one word titles from the 90s, like, Rendezvous and so on. Well, I don't know about this because I was thinking I'm of two minds about how to do this, at least, possibly even more minds, all the minds. And that is that we could start with the thrillers and work our way to cozies, or we could start with the lighter fare and work our way up to the more hardcore fare. But that's kind of putting you on the spot. I mean, I have a stack of 4 of each. Well, not all of the ones in my lighthearted stack, my more lighthearted stack are cozies. But I have 4 in the more lighthearted stack, and then I have 4 in the heavier thriller stack.
I would suggest you going first, just because you sound more planned out than I am. I have a general idea, but I also just like grabbed a bunch of random stuff.
I think you're importing a lot of assumptions to me that are not necessarily warranted. Oh, wait a second. Mina has something to say.
Comment.
She does. She says, I like having a mystery tossed in with the romance. Makes for an interesting plot. Yeah, because sometimes just the romance isn't enough, It's just kind of,
I think that's part of what probably like got me slowly into mysteries, was I started really liking the romances that had like a little mystery element to it or an adventure, and then started being like, oh, like I just want more of this, like.
And like I said, sometimes the development of the relationship is interesting and enough of a plot on its own, but other times, you want something a little more that you can sink your teeth into. And Abby Jean says, I am interested in Amanda Quick's The Other Lady Vanishes, Wrecked by Violet.
That sounds intriguing.
Oh, yes, I have read that. This is Amanda Quick. That's a really interesting one. And I Violet really just like recommends the Burning Cove series is what it's called. And she recommends it a lot. It's like her favorite, I think. And what I like about it, and I like it too, I haven't read all of the Burning Cove books, but Burning Cove is a small town in sort of Southern California, not too far from Los Angeles. They're set in the 20s and 30s.
Ooh,
1920s and 1930s. So it's kind of interesting to get another historical period that you don't necessarily hear from a lot.
That's fun.
So yeah, and I think the other lady, I read a couple of them. I think there were 4 or 5. I read a couple of them 2 or 3 years ago, and the other lady vanishes was one of them, and I really enjoyed it. So
Interesting.
yeah,
I mean, I was already interested in Amanda Quick after like hearing about the paid companion for you, but like now I'm like, I really need to check her out. And yeah, like historical mysteries are also sort of like another branch and a great way to get in if you like. I think especially like if you like historical romance, you like that different time period, try
Mhm.
historical mystery because you already like
Yeah,
the time period.
yeah, or to even like pick a historical period you're interested in.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you could read Brother Cadfael if you're interested in more medieval fare,
Hmm.
and and then of course once you start getting into the 30s, the 20s and the 30s, people were writing detective fiction at the time. So
Yeah,
they're
so
not
especially, Agatha Christie, like
Yeah, if you're reading some of the Agatha Christie, if you're reading like Dashiell Hammett, like The Maltese Falcon,
mhm.
and The Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler, those noirs, those they're not historical. I mean,
Yeah, I guess
they're
so, yeah.
historical to us, but they were writing
Yeah.
about times. And another one that's good, I think my sister always really, really liked the Peter Wimsey books by Dorothy Sayers,
Okay.
which I think that might have been a little later. That might have been the 40s and 50s. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Mhm.
Um, so, well, actually, that is kind of an interesting way to get into it because one of the books I'm going to be talking about is by Ruth Rendell.
Mhm.
Ruth Rendell is the late Ruth Rendell is was a British mystery writer. She started as a journalist and she started publishing mysteries. And her first novel, which was a mystery, it was uh, from Dune, from Dune with Death. That's Doon. And Inspector Wexford mystery. This is the first Inspector Wexford mystery. I think she published well over 30 of them. And it was published in 1964. It's very much, well, it's kind of its time. And now we read it. Well, now I read it and I'm thinking, this is kind of dated, but she was actually doing something kind of new
Right.
because you have the inspector working in a small town, a small village. It's commuting distance from London, but like an hour by train. So some people do commute, but it's a bit of a schlep.
Mhm.
They don't call it that though. Um, and oops, Abby Jane said something. She says, I find classic books that were written. I find classic books that were written as contemporaries to be special. Yeah.
Mhm.
The other one is, of course, Sherlock Holmes. I mean, I don't know why
Mhm.
we've been at it for
Oh,
almost 15 minutes, and I'm just now mentioning the great.
yeah, I forgot to grab my book of hold on, I forgot to grab my book off the shelf of that.
There's Sherlock Holmes. He's doing his thing. I'm singing a song while Megan's getting her book that she wants to show us. I was just drinking up a song while you were there.
Yeah, so for Sherlock Holmes, I have the big mashup of like all of the all the stuff. It's nice and
All the stuff. Not just
all the things.
all the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that easy to read, or do you find yourself going
No.
to Project Gutenberg and reading it electronically?
I've only read it once because like I read through like each at a time, but like it took years to get through the whole thing because it's all of it. It's a lot. It's a
No,
lot of
it's just
stories.
I'm talking about the physical experience of holding such a chonker.
I see because I'm used to big books, but I think the mindset is different when you know it's a bunch of smaller books inside, like
Yeah,
short
yeah. Like
stories
I
and
was
stuff.
just like imagining, like just like
Yeah.
when you're reading in bed, do not drop that on your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be bad.
Yeah.
Abby Jean says, I have the complete collection on audio. Need to read them. I love the BBC adaptation.
Hmm.
Is that the Sherlock, the more modern times adaptation, or the one with David Suchet, or what?
Wait, isn't Suchet Agatha Poirot?
Yeah, he was Poirot. My mistake.
Yeah.
Jeremy Brett. I was thinking of Jeremy Brett.
Yeah, I've actually only seen like, I don't
And
know, one
narrated by
season.
Stephen Fry, or as we can now
Oh.
call him if we wish to, Sir Stephen Fry. So
Mm. Yeah,
anyway,
sorry.
no, I was just gonna talk a little bit about From Dune with
Yeah,
Dad.
no, go on.
This is short. Now we've got the Chief Inspector Wexford in the small town, and it's kind of set up to be like a cozy, except that it's kind of grittier than cozies were.
Mm.
It turns out that the small town is kind of not very aesthetically pleasing. He gets into class difference stuff, and it's kind of an interesting book. And apparently, it was kind of, I don't know how much of a groundbreaker it was, but it was not like what everybody else was doing at the time.
Right.
It was an interesting book to read. There's some stuff in here that's a little dated, a little cringe, a little yikes. It's on the
Yeah, you said it
yikesometer.
was written in the 60s.
1964 was when it
Yeah,
was published.
so.
It is on the yikesometer or yikesometer.
Mhm.
So, yep. Another comment.
Yes,
Benedict Cumberbatch is the Sherlock she was thinking of.
Yeah.
Cool beans. Anyway, it was interesting to read more as an historical artifact to me.
Right.
The other thing is that it's very short. I mean, this is like 210 pages or something. The other thing is that I tend to kind of, as soon as it's a so-and-so mystery, like a detective inspector or chief inspector Wexford mystery, or, a Hercule Poirot mystery or something, I tend to kind of check out mentally. I don't know. It's just, well, procedurals are not really my thing. And it's like, as soon as it's like Chief Inspector Wexford or Sergeant so-and-so or whatever, it's going to be a whole thing, and it's going to be a whole bunch of procedurals, which is not necessarily what I am interested in reading. So do you have any thoughts about procedurals, or have you read very many?
I haven't read that many. I don't know. I don't mind, I don't think. I guess like so the opposite of that would be like the amateur sleuth. Which is more of, the more cozy side is usually amateur sleuth and more popular. But at the same time, like, I don't know, would you consider the Sherlock procedural? Because he's not officially a detective, but
sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, he is following a procedure.
That's true. His own weird procedure. That's true.
I mean, he was kind of like making it up as he went along. I mean, there hadn't been that many. There had been some, Edgar Allan Poe, but not a whole lot. Murders in the Rue Morgue and so on. Yeah, but procedurals, I tend to. Well, usually their procedural is short for police procedural, where it's following as like an actual Inspector Wexford or Bosch or somebody goes through and actually follows police procedure more or less.
Yeah.
Sometimes they play by their own rules. Abby Jean says, I used to be really into police procedural TV shows, Bones, Criminal Minds, etc., but have come away from that because now I find it too dark. I also had a true crime phase.
Yeah, so see, I think like in that sense, Abby, like because my mom watches those on TV and I don't like those because I don't like it being dark. But I find like with certain like mystery books, like if it's a cozy or something else, like I like the procedural without getting into the dark reality details of it all.
Well, it's interesting because my grandmother did not like mysteries. She didn't like murder mysteries. She didn't like procedurals because they were too dark, but she also didn't like cozies. Like, she did not like Murder, She Wrote because she felt like it was making light entertainment out of a very serious subject.
Yes, that's true. I had trouble with that for a while because it was like I liked mystery, but I didn't want to read a book that like made fun of someone who got killed in a way.
Which is not why I don't like. I don't like them.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't. It's not an ethical. It's not an ethical objection. they're not my kind.
yeah.
Okay.
But Nicole has an interesting thing. She just doesn't
Yeah,
like
we
mysteries
have
at all.
a whole bunch of comments going on. Oh my goodness, it's
Oh
very
my goodness.
super lively. She says, "I'm not a big mystery reader. It doesn't really appeal to me. I think my best bet would be something like Finlay Donovan or Vera Wong." Well, actually,
Vera's good, yeah. My mom loves Vera.
there is something that Nicole and I were talking about, or am I telling tales out of school? And I will talk about that in a second, but I want to get caught up on comments first. So Abby Jean says, I am super curious about Cozy. I'm planning on choosing one from this show to try as my next sleep book.
Oh boy, Abby. Pressure.
Oh,
what do I recommend?
Yeah. She's like, well, do you want something that'll keep you up? Abby Jean and Nicole says, Abby Jean and I read Ghost Walk. It had a murder mystery, and I blocked that out just to enjoy the romance, which I did adore. I glossed over the mystery stuff, and I've learned to tune it out.
Oh, Nicole. Well, thanks still for joining us, even though you don't want mysteries at all. That's so interesting. So interesting.
Anna says, I have a huge book of Edgar Allan Poe's works as well as bind up of Jane Austen's 7 novels. I'm okay with dark. One of my favorite Poe works is The Telltale Heart. Ooh.
Oh boy, I had to read that for high school for something, and I was like, that's too dark. It's too much.
She's got a little freaked out by the Simpsons parody. Okay. Yeah, I do like Poe. I do like The Mask of the Red Death and the really hardcore stuff. Okay, let's see. And Abby Jean says, ooh, Nicole, I like Finlay Donovan, and I am interested in Vera Wong.
Mm-hmm.
And Ana says, I'm half here, sorry for feeling sick, so resting my head. Oh,
I hope you feel better.
okay.
Thanks still.
Well, I won't sing any more little songs because that.
Yeah, we'll switch to our soothing voice.
Oh yeah. There you go. Okay. Well, I hope you feel better, and you know, if you need to duck out, but you know, you can turn the brightness on the screen way down. Listen.
We'll try and not yell.
Just listen to us talking about murder and grisly crimes. It'll be soothing.
But I'll make it cozy.
Yeah, grisly crimes, but make it cozy. Nicole says, I'd love to get into something cozy, but then once there's a murder, it doesn't seem cozy anymore. LOL.
True.
Okay, and Abby Jean says, same Nicole, but I am opening my mind. LOL. Right. It's all the LOLs that are, yeah. Ana says, Cask of Amontillado was good too. I don't think I read Cask of Amontillado. I didn't major in English. And it's okay. Now, going back to what Nicole was saying, and we talked a little bit about this in DMs. And this is a book I started, and it ended up being a DNF for me again because I just don't like cozies. And I thought my mom recommended this one, and I said, okay, well, if I'm gonna like a cozy, it's probably gonna be this one. And I didn't. And that is Arsenic and Adobo.
Oh, you didn't like it? Okay.
I did not.
I haven't read it, but I know in the cozy world people loved it. So
okay, well, I DNF'd it at about 10%, 15%. And I don't want to get too much into it, but I will say that if you have an inherent interest in cozies, or you're motivated to try cozies, and you have some connection to the material, like in this case, it's Tita Rosie's Kitchen, which is a Filipino restaurant in suburban Chicago, in suburban Illinois, that so you've got the food, and there are recipes in the back, which frequent feature of cozies. And so if you have a particular interest in the Filipino immigrant experience or in Filipino food, then this might be for you. Again, I DNF'd it because I just was like not having a good time, and I didn't think it was fair to the book or the author for me to continue reading something I wasn't particularly enjoying. However, I'll probably be stopping by Kayumanga in Wallingford for some really boss Filipino.
And it looks like Nicole has a comment that she might try that one out because
we were talking about that. Yeah. And Nicole says, I think that would be a great one for me, Sock, because the Filipino culture would be comforting and suck me in. Yeah, I think that that's like another point, generally speaking, to make about getting into cozies is to pick, like, you can find a cozy for pretty much any occupation under
Yeah.
the sun.
I've got examples of just the
Type
range.
of business or something. So if you find a kind of subculture you're interested in, like Filipino immigrant culture or restaurants or whatever,
Yeah.
let's get caught up on comments, and then maybe you can talk a little bit more about those kinds of cozies and how they relate to different kinds of business establishments.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
occupations. But
That's basically what I did at the library. Just picked examples.
and Nicole says, if I don't like it, I am just going to give up and accept that this isn't my genre.
No, Nicole, don't just use one book. Don't place all the hopes on one
You're
book.
putting poor
So much pressure.
poor Mia P. Manansala. You're putting so much pressure on her. And Abby Jean's BT Dubs. Did she really say BT Dubs? By the way, hello, Nicole. Glad you could make it. Yes, me too.
Mm-hmm.
And Nicole says, hey there, girl. Right back at you. Hey there, girl,
All right.
indeed. Yeah, very nice to see you.
Okay.
Okay. Now, are you ready to kind of throw some occupations and types
All
of
right, occupations. Okay, so a big thing in cozies, there's always a lot of baking and food ones. Baking is big. So an example would be a Bake Shop Mystery series by Ellie Alexander. This is one of the newer books. I have only read up, there's like 20 books now. I don't know. There's new ones all the time.
And the puns tend to be strong.
Oh, yes. If you don't like puns, you're going to be really annoyed with cozy titles because they're all puns. So baking is a big one. So Ellie Alexander, she's one of the queens, the modern queens, as it were. I've only read books, like the first 3 books, but it's still like a series I want to continue. And it's one that like you go back to and like you just like sink right back into the world and the characters, and you don't need to remember what happened. So she does really good with like, yeah, just your characters, your setting. She based it on a real place, Ashland, Oregon. So just the detail of the little downtown is like, it's a real place. You can go see it. So that's really
did she do one around don't they have a Shakespeare festival?
Yeah. That's part of
one based around the Shakespeare festival. At least one.
Probably. I don't know. There's so many. I don't know, but
A Midsummer Night's Murder.
That's a recurring theme. Oh well, all of her titles are bakery theme. So our main character.
You could get a Shakespeare and bakery thing.
I don't know. Probably. Like I said, there's 20. So yeah. So if you want all the yummy bakery descriptions, Ellie Alexander. Abby says she's read the first book, Meet Your Baker. That's the only cozy I've read. That was one of the first ones I started with. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, going back before that, she's never had luck with mysteries of all that she's read, so.
Okay.
So I just want to catch up on what
yeah. So that's your bakery section.
Storm Reads was reading Cheese Shop Mysteries.
Yes, where is that one?
She was reading Cheddar Off Dead.
Yes, I have that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you like cheese, there's that one too.
I do like cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, and Bear in a Bakery. Oh. Have you read that?
No, but she says
okay.
Ana's saying romance. That's why.
Ana's saying Bear in a Bakery by Liz Paffel. It's a shifter romance that has a mystery subplot and is very good in my opinion. I've read the whole series and enjoyed it.
Cool.
You know what? Cool. You know what really brings the bears to the yard is cheese puffs.
Yeah.
Once they have tasted human Cheetos, you cannot keep them away.
Okay.
I have been saying that for years, and then there was like a YouTube viral video of a bear in a lake in like Minnesota or Wisconsin or something who had his head stuck in one of those giant plastic Cheetos jars, and it was showing this family. They were out in the water, and he was swimming around with this thing on his head, and this family was like trying to pull it off of him, trying to free him from. But I'm like, this is when you take your love of Cheetos a little too far. I have another comment.
Yeah. Deborah.
I'm glad it's not. Oh, Deborah. Hi, Deborah.
Hi.
I feel like I should
Sneaking
have.
in with a.
I don't have any of. Wait. Oh, here we go. I was like, I don't have any butterflies where I can reach them, but it's like on the tree. Deborah was the one who gave me the butterflies.
Oh, very nice.
I always wanted like.
Love
And,
her.
and actually, I don't know if you can see, but those lights behind me, way behind me, that's the ivy garland. Okay, so Deborah says, I'm glad it's not Mike. So yes, and this is the tea that B gave me. So I'm like surrounded by gifts from the Tea and Biscuits Discord. Okay, so Deborah says, I'm glad it's not milkshakes. I have enough trouble with all the boys in my yard. Can't have bears too. And Ana says, the way I cackled.
Yes.
And then Deborah says, hi, sweets.
Yeah.
And then Nicole says, oh, I did get a rec once that I have yet to try. Has anyone read anything from the Shady Hollow series? Any thoughts on it? Okay.
Yes.
I guess wow.
Nicole, okay. So this is the only series I actually own. Everything else I've just read from the library. But my library didn't have these and I got hooked and I will buy. So for one thing, the covers are just all really cute. These little like animals.
I'm gonna have to watch this back later on YouTube because I've got like a tiny box inside.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're super cute.
Shady Hollow.
So Shady Hollow, all the characters are animals. And it even has a little page at the beginning of like, these are animals, and you know, some things may not be realistic. If that bothers you, go away. Like,
well, are they animals like they wear little pants and things, or?
Yeah, they're a fully functioning society.
So they're like Richard Scarry all grown up.
I don't know who that is. Sorry.
No. Richard Scarry was an American illustrator, and he had things like Richard Scarry's Busy Town, and it was just like all these anthropomorphized animals running around wearing pants and stuff.
Then yes.
And having jobs, and it was like kind of like Peppa Pig.
Okay. Yes. So yes,
they're anthropomorphic, running around having jobs and cell phones.
So the civilized animals, like the civilized animals, live in their towns and they have jobs, and they're all vegetarian, and like the wild animals out in the woods are like, they eat meat and stuff, and they're still uncivilized.
Oh my goodness! Do not get me started on the Manichaean heresy. Okay, just you don't want to go there with me.
But our main character is Vera Vixen. She's a reporter. So she's a reporter for the newspaper, and so, but then she sort of becomes like detective because she's investigating for her news reports, really.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it's just about all the characters in the town. There is a little romance between her and another character, so there is a little bit of romance for people. Very light, but
they're not people.
No, for the romance readers, yeah. But yeah, I like every book has been 5 stars for me. So if you're okay with like, talking animals, like I think you would really like it. And Nicole, just to assuage you even more, they all come with maps. Yeah.
Talking animals. I've got talking stuffed animals.
Oh boy. So yeah, so there are 5 out right now. There's also 2 little novellas that are digital. There's another book 6 coming out later. So
okay, comments. We got comments.
Yeah.
This is Nicole saying, "Oh yay, Megan!"
Yeah. Woo-hoo! So yes, this is like I would recommend this for sure.
Well, this is like Deborah has this to add. Those are adorable.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, you really get it's super. Yeah, just like the whole setting, you just feel cozy reading it, and the characters are great. And like each book as you go, you're exploring a little bit more of like the town, but then also like the wider world. So like the town next door and the woods over here, and so it's growing a little bit.
Do humans exist in these stories?
No. They do not.
Um,
Mhm.
okay, so we've got the that, and what are some of the other? Do you have like a librarian solving crimes or a
Lib
bookshop owner or something?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, so another big one is like book themed cozies. So you've got yeah, like a bookstore owner. There's do I have an I thought I had another one here. Oh, there's by Vicky Delaney. She has a Sherlock Holmes bookshop mystery. So if you like Sherlock, it's also this. Vicky's also Canadian. Plug there.
What? What
So
was that?
Vicky Delaney,
Uh,
she's also Canadian. So a little
oh,
plug for
Canadian. I
that
thought you
author.
said Canadian.
Oh no.
Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah, so she has a Sherlock Holmes bookshop mystery. So this is like two owners, they manage literally a Sherlock Holmes bookshop that like celebrates Sherlock Holmes and stuff. So you always have that element in there of the background in the story. We've got yeah, so book cozies are definitely another popular category if you want to read about libraries, book stuff. Those always sell well. Sorry, my stuff's all over the place. Oh, and then one other thing, since we were talking about historical before, there is also historical mysteries, but I found this in a library that I had never heard of it before. But it's a Jane Austen mystery. And especially with our buddy, like what we've been talking about on Discord now. So there was a bunch of books. Yeah, so it sounds like it's like the friends of Jane Austen, like things are like surrounding her. Um, let's see. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I just saw it on the bookshelf and I was like, oh wow. So, if we like Jane Austen as well, there's related mysteries to that.
Well, you can report back.
Yeah. So really with cozies it's so with romance it's always like, oh, what tropes do you like? With cozies it's really about what hobby do you like? What job do you like? What do you want to like hear more descriptions about? Do you want lots of food
Right.
descriptions? Do you want lots of just like cozy bookstore?
I'm sure there are florists and dress designers and boutique owners and
Oh yeah, probably I know there's a home renovation one. There's also witchy ones that are fun. I found a craft knitting one in the book and quilt ones in the library too.
Well, yeah, things like a knitting
Yeah.
a knitting group or a quilting bee, quilting circle kind of a situation. Those kind of lend
Yeah.
themselves to. Now,
Yeah,
I have
super
not
cozy.
read the Richard Osman books, but
I have not either, but I've
so I was
heard
wondering,
great
I don't
things.
know if they count as cozy or not.
So as far as I know, they do. Other cozy people I follow have read them and loved them. So there are sometimes you will find like something might be cozy, but it might be there are like super cozy, and then there are some that are like cozy, but they might have just a little bit more edge to them. They're
Okay,
not
incidentally, when I mentioned the Richard Osman, I'm talking about the Thursday Murder Club, and
Yes.
this is well, I'm just saying for people who don't know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
sorry.
Those are people who live in a retirement home. So it's
Oh.
about older citizens solving crimes.
Oh, actually that's another like trope, I guess, if you like, is like senior sleuth. So if you want to read more about, the senior people figuring stuff out, you can try that one, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, there's cat mysteries. There is coffee house. You like coffee?
Hang on, there's a long comment here. I want to see what it is.
Oh.
It's from Abby Jean, and she says, "Ooh, I like books about home renovations. My father-in-law gave me a series of cozies about scrapbooking, but I unhauled it. Now I regret that."
Oh man, I would have taken that. Yeah, so I I forget what it's called, but I know the author of the one I'm thinking of is Kate Carlisle. Here, Abby, I'll type. Okay, never mind. I was going to type it in the chat, but it won't let me right now. But I can send that to you anyway. So Kate Carlisle, I know, writes that. But see, like for me, the book was just okay because I wasn't interested in home renovation. So it's like it's really about what you're interested in, because that's that's what you're going to get the most descriptions about, and you're still solving the mystery, but it's also about the day-to-day life of our regular person, our amateur sleuth, going about their day and their job. So if you don't care about their job, not really.
Yeah, that's not gonna be.
Yeah. Sorry, my throat is so scratchy. I've been
Okay,
talking all
and
day.
Abby Jean says Kate Carlisle, got it. Thanks.
Yes, actually, Abby, I think it's with an I instead of a Y. Just so you know, if you're typing and can't find it.
What, Carlisle?
Yeah.
IS or?
Yeah, I think it's like ISLE or something like that. So,
Okay.
But Abby, I can find it and send it to you if you want.
This is not the only way we communicate. So.
Yeah. And sorry for my throat being so scratchy. By the way, I've been just like talking and on calls for most
Okay,
of the
well,
day.
if you want to go get yourself a nice hot cup of tea or something, then I can.
I mean, you're free to take over. Like I said,
I can vamp.
I just exploded stuff from the library. There wasn't much, but
Okay. Well, I went to the library as well, but
yeah.
Okay, this is a book I've read. I think I read this about a year ago, and I enjoyed it. And I read some other books by her, and this is was a milestone for me because this was the first time that I had an author like one of my Instagram posts that featured her work.
Ooh.
And that is Janice Hallett, Hallett. And this is called The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels. And this one is a little grittier. She's written some others. There's one that takes place in and around a amateur dramatic society.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also written The Appeal. I think that was the one that was set in that milieu, and the Twyford Code. This one, and the other two are like this as well, is this one is told through emails.
Oh.
And there's a script.
Oh, that's fun.
For a documentary and those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not all epistolary because there are these scripts and things, but it is like that kind of mixed media kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be for people who like who like a mixed media book.
Yeah.
This might be a good entry point for them.
Yeah.
Or if that's intriguing. So these are set in the UK, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Which so that's one of those that I think I like them. I really like them a lot. They're just a fun reading experience. So
cool.
Now going back to our pal Ruth Rendell,
mm-hmm.
She also writes as Barbara Vine, and that's more psychological thriller. But she also published. She's no longer with us. Standalones under the Ruth Rendell name, and this one is a psychological thriller as well. I'm not sure why she published it as Ruth Rendell rather than Barbara Vine, and this one is called A Sight for Sore Eyes. And this one is much more of a psychological thriller. It's not a procedural.
Mm-hmm.
The police are barely involved, just here and there a little bit. And it's very much about class and aesthetics and things of that nature, set in the UK. So this is one of those that I had read, and I was just going to go through it really quickly to see if I felt good about, just to make sure I felt okay about recommending it. Mm-hmm. And I actually sat down and read. I hardly skimmed it all, just a couple of pages here. I just kind of ended up getting absorbed. So
nice.
There's that. So that's moving into the psychological thriller aspect of it. And then here's one that is kind of hard because it's kind of can be hard to read because these characters, there aren't really any likable characters in this book.
Mm.
However, it was made into a very good movie. So if you want to watch a good movie adaptation of it, don't want to commit to reading an entire book, but you
Mhm.
want to watch a movie adaptation and see how you feel about it. And that is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I think it's Gillian, not Gillian. And again, there are basically no sympathetic characters in this book.
Well,
But the
some
David
people like morally gray people, right?
exactly. The David Fincher adaptation of it is a very good movie. And it's a good book, good movie.
Mhm.
And Abby Jean says, I have read Gone Girl.
Mhm.
Okay. So
What'd you think?
it's like I sometimes say when I do my library unhauls, I'll be like, well, this was a book that I read.
Yeah, you're like, I read it. That's all I can say.
Moving on.
Mhm.
So I liked it, but again, very unlikable characters. So some people, want at least one person they can like and root
Yeah,
for.
I usually need
That's when you're
someone.
kind of rooting against. At least I was rooting against everyone. She says I gave it 3 stars.
Ah.
No, I think I would give it, I don't know. Abby Jean's always tricking me into rating things. But always, I mean, she did it once, and now that's what she does in my head is trick me into
Yeah.
rating things. I think I would give it more like a 4.
Hmm.
I give it a 4. But one of the reasons I was thinking it would be a good entry point is that there is that film adaptation. And you
Right.
can just watch the movie, and if you're like, yeah, this is kind of not for me, then
Mhm.
you've probably not lost that much time to it.
Mhm.
Okay, one thing that I've talked about in the past is that in some of these genres, getting into a new genre is YA can be a good entry point, or even middle grade, like if you wanted to read Hardy Boys or Nancy Drew or something.
Yes, I forgot to say there's a whole bunch of like middle grade mystery. That's a whole thing too.
Yeah, that's another because again, it's not a huge commitment of time if you're an adult,
Mhm.
and
And actually, I think the middle grade mysteries, I think like are usually like a non-murder one because it's kids. So if you
right,
don't like
right.
the murder, that actually might be a really good place to start.
Yeah, because you're gonna like Nancy Drew. I think more recently she started dealing with murder and things like that.
Oh, okay.
But originally she was just like it would be stolen
Yeah.
things or blackmail or fraud or
Yeah.
things like that. It would
Yeah.
be
So there is there
oh,
is
there
there
might
is
be an
hope.
occasional dust up, but it was essentially nonviolent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But if you want something that's grittier, this is somebody that blurbed it. The New York Times blurbed this as a criminal minds, but got all these things and none of them are my reading glasses. Try to put a Coke can on my face. Oh, by the way, beverage check. It is a Summit Diet Cola,
Huh.
Summit being the store
Nice.
brand at Aldi.
Nice water in here.
Uh, and The Naturals is Criminal Minds for the YA world, because that's what I'm talking about. The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes.
Oh.
And, a lot of times when you have high school students running around solving crimes, you're like, where are the adults in this situation?
Yeah.
Well, in this case, the Naturals are this kind of got a paranormal element because they have special skills bordering on paranormal,
Mm.
and they are being exploited by the government for those skills.
Ooh.
So the adults are kind of a source of danger.
Oh, interesting.
So there's a justification for having these adolescents doing things that adolescents really shouldn't be doing.
Right.
And that is that the government is
Yeah.
manipulating them into doing it. So there were 4 books in this series. So this
Oh,
is the first one.
that's so cool.
So
Interesting.
mhm.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm still hearing myself.
Hmm.
Why do I hear myself? It's a weird echo. Anyway, um, if you want to get into just like fast-paced, unhinged, probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but by the time you realize that, you finished it 3 hours ago. You got a comment? Nicole says, yep, middle grade is when what I stick with mostly for mystery, also because I have to read middle grade for my students. I love Limoncello's library, and the Westing game is wonderful.
Awesome. Yeah, I love reading like middle grade like fantasy books, and I haven't gotten into the middle grade mystery yet. Like so there's so much out there, so I'm excited. Yeah, so like it's a great place to start. There's hope. There's hope, Nicole.
Okay, another comment from Abby Jean. I have read some thrillers. I've come away from that genre for the most part, but I enjoyed Just One Look, Female Stalker, and Playing Nice.
Okay.
Okay, but anyway, like I said, if you want something that's very fast-paced, very unhinged, doesn't really make a lot of sense, but like I said, by the time you finished reading it, by the time you realize it didn't make a whole lot of sense, you finished it like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Okay, another comment. Oh, Ana has, I've been trying to expand my middle grade collection as my niece has started getting more into reading.
Yeah, honestly, middle grade books are just great in general because like an author writing for a middle grade audience, their attention span is like that. So they have to keep everything very fast paced. So a middle grade is a really good, just like quick adventure.
Yeah, and
pace,
again,
you
you're
know?
probably not going to run into too much in the way of disturbing content.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, let's see. So anyway, when I say unhinged, doesn't make a
Oh,
lot of
yes.
sense.
We still need to know the book.
I am talking about Frida McFadden.
Oh.
She writes thrillers. She's kind of like gotten a lot of traction lately, especially because of Book Talk and Instagram, especially Book Talk. And like I said, this is just like, this is the one I picked up the other day because I happened to see it at the library and I was looking for a Frida McFadden. And I was like, oh, I haven't read this one yet because I think this just came out a few months ago. Have to check. But anyway, you can read a Frida McFadden. I think kind of the one that really is kind of famous is The Housemaid. I think it's The Housemaid's Secret. The Housemaid's Secret, I think is what it was called. Yeah, this is copyright 2025. So yeah, this is come out within the last 2.5 months or so. Anyway, but they're just they move along, and like I said, do they make a lot of sense? I don't know. Am I entertained when I read one? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And this is, oh no, Abby Jean's gonna be like, I thought you had taste.
Well, book of the month thinks so.
Yeah, I think Frida McFadden was featured on Book of the Month as well. BOTM authors always blow up. Yeah, if they, hadn't already, they would after that. Okay, and actually, I'm almost coming to the end of my pile. Wow, that was a lot faster than I expected, considering that there were 2 of us.
Right.
And that is.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, like, I have another book that I forgot to talk about that I can do after you are done.
Awesome. Okay, and that is this one by, I'm not sure if it's Gillian or Gillian again, McAllister. She writes thrillers in general, called Wrong Place, Wrong Time. And this one is Groundhog Day, but make it thriller.
Sounds like my nightmare.
Well, it's this woman who sees her, her son, who's like at the upper end of being a teenager, 16, 17, well, 17, 18, I don't know. She sees him commit a crime. Oh. And she's like, oh. And then she wakes up the next morning and she's all worried because he's been arrested and he's committed a crime. And what is she going to do? How is she going to help him without, when she knows she saw him do it?
Yeah.
Only it hasn't happened yet. It's the previous morning.
Oh, man.
So she goes through this cycle several times, and each time she gathers a little more information and to find out what are the circumstances that led to what she saw. Did she really see what she thought she saw? What were the circumstances leading to it? And that's such an interesting structure.
That does sound interesting.
I do enjoy a Groundhog Day kind of thing. Almost after Groundhog Day came out, almost every science fiction show had to have at least one Groundhog Day episode. And if you like horror, there's Happy Death Day to Me and Happy Death Day. There's Groundhog Day horror. Anyway, so that's also a thriller, really. Anyway, so that is very interesting. I enjoyed it a lot. Okay, we got a comment from Abby Jean. I too enjoy Groundhog Day. You know what? I've never actually seen the movie all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces of it
I
here
don't
and there.
think I have either. So.
Every year. I have it on DVD because it came in a set with some other Bill Murray movies that I wanted to watch. And I keep meaning to watch it. Like every Groundhog Day, I'm like, I'm going to sit down and watch it. And we don't have cable anymore, but I think it was like TBS or TNT or one of those used to run it.
Right, yeah.
It's 24 hours of Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And there's like the Christmas Story, 24 hours. And anyway, so I keep meaning to sit down and watch it on Groundhog Day, and I keep forgetting to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Maybe that's your Groundhog Day. You just keep forgetting every year.
Yeah. Groundhog Day. But I mean, I've seen the episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. I've seen the episode of Stargate. I've seen the episode of Supernatural. I've seen it. Oh,
that's not the original.
Yeah, well, I've seen parts of it, you know.
Yeah.
I never sat down and watched it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Or have I?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I had to share.
Yeah.
Once again, getting into YA or middle grade can be a great way to start, but I don't necessarily read a lot of middle grade, or, you know, any. So
middle grade I've read is great. I feel like middle grade is like this weird, like, it's not a genre because there are many genres within middle grade, but it's like this section that's really, I don't know, gaining more traction with like adult readers too, because it's just like middle grade has to be written a very certain way to keep middle grade kids entertained and focused, and you know,
without freaking them out.
Yeah, exactly. And like
or their parents.
Yeah, so it's just got to be always like adventure and fast pace, and so I find them really fun.
Well, so what was the book?
So the other book I wanted to mention is called Murder at an Irish Wedding by Carleen O'Connor. Now this is the first one. Now I've only listened to these on audiobook, and I've only read like books 1 and 2. But and there's like more that I need to go through, but it's already like one of my favorites. So this one it's a family of like an Irish family. It's the kids, their parents have died like 2 years before. So you've got the older two, more like the older sister, taking care of the whole family. So you've got a whole cast of fun kid characters, family dynamics. Now, so there's like a murder that happens, and they're like in their town, and then so their brother is like their main suspect basically. So Siobhan O'Sullivan, that's our female character, so she's trying to solve it basically to like prove her brother's innocent, but there's like some doubt of like he might not be super innocent, we don't know. But it's just like the family dynamic is impeccable, and this is a series I love audiobooks, but like this is a series I'm only listening to the audiobooks. I'm not physically reading, and I love physically reading. The narrator is actually Irish, and so just her accent, she gets the Irish, because when you see the spelling of the Irish names, some of them are like you have no idea how to say them.
Now you do.
Pardon?
Now you do.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've listened to the audio. So that's a plus in itself. But it's just like because she's Irish, she gets the like the sarcasm, their sass, like just their characteristics, and she brings each character to life. So now this one it's cozy, but I think it's like just a smidge on the more gritty side, but it's not like there's no like really graphic. It's just like it gets a little bit darker in places, but just a smidge. But now Siobhan does eventually become a detective. So the later books become like she's more detective solving. So if you don't like your detective procedurals, you might, but like the first two are great. But there's there is a romance with her and our detective, like at the beginning. So there's romance in it too.
Well, I like the idea that she actually does become officially become a detective, because I think it can be a little hard to sustain about why is this person constantly,
Yeah,
tripping over, how like
yes, because
people
so
used to
that's a
joke about Cabot Cove,
yeah,
where the
exactly.
Chester Fletcher was from. Maybe she was the one committing all those crimes
Yeah,
because there's so many of
yes,
them. Hang
yeah,
on, we
that's
got a
actually
comment.
yeah,
Oh, and this is from Abby Jean says, "Ooh, sounds good."
yeah. Like I
I think
said, like
again, Stormy was reading something by Carlene Connor, but she said it was a little grittier. I think it was a
yeah.
different series, maybe. But
Oh, I know the author does like thrillers, but I don't know if she uses a
yeah,
different name
I
for
think
them.
that was maybe the case. I don't know.
Yeah, she might use a different name, I don't remember, but, yeah, so that's even, like, sort of in book 2, the plot of, like, she wants to solve this crime, and they're like, "Why? Like, you have no reason to be in this or nosing around, like, you've nothing." And so that's when she sort of realizes that, like, she really likes this and wants to, like, do it, so she applies to be a detective and stuff. Um, but yeah, like, it's really fun, like I said, I've only listened to books 1 and 2, but they're so much fun. The family is awesome. So like your family dynamic, your fun siblings, it's
Yeah.
all there. They so the thing with cozies is that it's always like no violence, no sex, no swearing. That's sort of what makes a cozy. They do have swearing, but it's like it's Irish swearing, but it's because it's their slang. It's like how the
Yeah.
Irish would just normally talk. So there is that, but it's like, it's Irish words. So is it okay? Is not, that's for you to decide. But I think the narrator does a fantastic job with it. Yeah, that was the only one I really wanted to highlight. Like I said, there's so many things with cozies. Like if you don't know where to start, really like think about like just what hobby, what job do you like? And then
Yeah.
really just type that in like baking cozies, crafting cozies.
Or alternatively, what job or
Mhm.
business do you not know a whole
Bookstore
lot about, but is
cozies.
interesting to you? Like, I
Yeah.
don't know a whole lot about, whatever, but I want to.
Mhm.
Okay, we got another comment.
All right.
Abby Jean says, "All right, I have a question."
All right.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm so awesome. I just am.
Yeah.
I don't know that that was her question, but I like to assume. Okay. Okay, it looks like, oh, yes, she's got this. Do you usually try to guess the solution? For me, I think the perfect mystery is one where I could have guessed but didn't.
Mhm.
So you're shocked, but you can see all the breadcrumbs while looking back.
Yes, that is like sort of the like when it's done well, that's what you want.
Hmm.
Because so there are so many readers that are like they read and they can guess. I just I can't. Like I'll go through and read and be like have thoughts and try and piece things together. Um I'm usually always wrong, but I'm more along for like I want the ride and I want the reveal. And then I can be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I see it now." Where like
Yeah.
some people read and they want to figure it out before the end. And I'm just not that smart. So
Yeah. Well, I kind of feel the same way.
mhm.
And it's like I feel like if I figure it out, then it's probably not very well plotted,
Yeah, like
because
you don't want to figure it out too
it's like,
early.
how could I figure this out so quickly?
Mhm.
Why was it so obvious to me when I usually kind of
Yeah.
don't guess them, or I'm just reading
Yeah.
it for the vibes?
Yeah,
Okay, we
that
have
makes it
something from,
boring.
yeah, from Nicole Card. Nicole, I don't know why I'm saying her whole name. It's like when you pop up on
Megan's book
comments,
nook.
I'm like, Megan's book 599 says, I'm like, oh, it's Megan. I was going through my books read, and Charlie Holmberg's Keeper of Enchanted Rooms came back to the surface. I loved this mystery, historical, paranormal, cozy. It was like a perfect
There you
package.
go. I have not heard of that one, but it sounds fun.
Keeper of Enchanted Rooms.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing, like,
That
if
sounds familiar. I think my mom might have read that.
like, you find a mystery blended with another genre, and that,
Yeah,
like
yeah, that you
that helps a
like.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And Nicole says, Oh, Abby Jean Rather says, I hate it when they throw in twists like, and it was the secret twin.
Yeah.
Like, there's no possible way I could have guessed that, so it's no fun.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mind because I'm not trying to guess it anyway.
See, yeah, no, that bothers me too.
So that doesn't bother me, but I get why that would be really
Most mystery readers are like really annoyed when that happens because it's like,
it's
yeah,
a cheat.
like, yeah, it is. It's a cheat. And it's like, no, like there should be enough there that we could have solved it, or we can go back and see, when you reread it, you can see it coming. Like, yeah, so doing that is like cop out. So any good, I don't know, good mysteries shouldn't do that. Yeah.
See, that's the thing, is that's why I'm not necessarily like, I'm talking about like Frida McFadden and other thrillers. I'm like, I don't know that this necessarily adds up
Right.
as a mystery, but you know what? I
You're
was
here for the ride.
thoroughly entertained that I don't even care.
Yeah, you're there for the ride.
It's like one of those things where it just does not pay for me to think about this too closely.
Yeah, it's like those certain, like, I mean, romance too, right? There are some books where it's like, don't think too hard about it. Just have fun.
Yeah.
For sure.
It was kind of like, that's why I had to drop out of the Abby Jimenez read along.
Oh no, really? I just have
yes,
fallen behind
well, I
on
was
that.
like, I don't want to think about these books that closely because then the seams start to show.
Oh, okay. I like them. I just have fallen behind.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing, is I enjoy them, but it's like talking about them doesn't make it. Yeah, it was like, for me, they didn't stand up to such close scrutiny, and I'd rather have the memory of having enjoyed it than,
yeah, okay. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any more questions or
comments, concerns,
Recs they want
to give?
Oh, actually, one thing I will say is that, like, because I'm still very new to the mystery world, but one thing that's helped me, like, just be aware of what's out there is the Cozy Mystery Book Club. So they're on YouTube and Instagram. I think the YouTube channel, though, is Writer A Heart, because it's the person who runs it. It's her channel. But you can just type in Cozy Mystery Book Club. There's a website. It's got all the info. She's great at, like, just updating everything. But anyway, so every month they like pick a mystery book. But what is different is that it's always the first in a series, so that you can, like, start and see if you like it. And she always, their criteria is it always has to be a book that's available in all 3 formats and at your library. So it should be, really easy to find. Yeah, so the Cozy Mystery Book Club, you can find them on Instagram or the website, or even just on YouTube. So that's a really great place to just start and see, like, what they've read in the past, what's out there, and jump in. I know last month, I didn't get to it, but I want to. They did a historical mystery that seemed very similar to, like, the historical, like, romances that we read. So I want to try that one out. But yeah.
Great resource. Okay, I think now it's time to figure out what we talk about next time. Oh, by the way, I don't know if people noticed, or I kind of talked about this in other live streams and whatnot. I've started to call this Book Talk with Sock.
Yeah.
Book Talk, Talk, not like Book Talk like TikTok. Book Talk with Sock, and I don't know.
I like it. I like the rhyming of it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, because I mentioned it to my mom, and she just kind of like got this look on her face, like, how am I related to you again? And
no, I like it. I think it's a good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. Oh yeah, because you mentioned that on B's stream on Friday. I remember now.
Yeah, when I was unexpectedly got the opportunity to plug my stuff. Oh,
yeah.
You have a comment?
Yeah. Great name.
Great name.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So Book Talk with Sock. I'm not sure. I think. Does anybody have anything that they'd like to see me talk about? Does anybody want to volunteer as tribute to come in and hang out and be on camera and stuff? Or do I have to, like, come up with something, because I mean, it is my show.
So okay, so remind me, you've done the paranormal.
We've done fantasy, paranormal. Fantasy was like we did 2 separate episodes on fantasy because there was just so much.
Oh, that's right. It was the first ones. because I was gonna suggest fantasy so I could help, but no,
We
I
had
remember now.
fantasy twice,
Yeah, I
and
remember
then
now.
paranormal, and now mystery.
Mhm.
We also don't necessarily have to do getting into a new genre. That's a lot of work, and
Yeah.
so if we can think of something else we want to talk about, because
Let's
it would be nice kind of if I had 4 weeks to get ready for the next genre, and
yeah.
then in the meantime we could talk about something a little less whatever people are interested in. I
Yeah.
mean, you could just if you want to just watch me goof on step back covers for an hour. That's what midweek motivation is for.
Yeah, I need to listen to the crazy step backs as I do work on Wednesdays.
Well, now I'm getting into the Harlequin Presents, so
Mhm,
still got some pretty bonkers plots and some pretty bonkers art, but
mhm,
yeah. So there's let's see, horror, there's science fiction, there's general fiction, there's nonfiction,
mhm.
um, there's other things I can't think of right now
I
because
couldn't even think of anything else before because I was like,
yeah,
fantasy, romance, mystery, that's all I read. What else is there? We've done
there's
the
westerns. I don't know. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, Abby Jean has thoughts. I might be able to do sci-fi with you. Awesome. I'm not sure if anyone in this group is interested in that or not, and I'm not an expert by any means, but I have read some with my husband and like
Sci-fi
sci-fi
romance?
romance.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that would be nice because I'm going to talk about science fiction because I like science fiction and I haven't read too much of it lately. But
Yeah. I
but
have
like I said, I might like to do that in 4 weeks' time and just do something that's not
mhm.
it doesn't involve my having to read a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, remember I backed off from once a week because I was reading too much
Well,
stuff.
that's the
And
thing, like, you're actually reading the books to recommend. I was just like, I have some to recommend that I've read, but
well,
I just was like,
I
here's some
reread
pretty covers.
some of the yeah, like some of these I read and some of them I a couple one I reread. I tried to reread a couple and I just could not get into them. So I was like, well, I can't recommend these because
Yeah.
I'm
Interesting.
not into them. Um, or maybe I just had a bad attitude. Who knows? But yeah, but some of these I had read recently enough that I didn't need to reread them.
Mhm. Oh,
Okay,
Deborah's
Deborah says, I have read a chunk of sci-fi. My father was huge on sci-fi, had thousands of books, including some romance. Deborah, weren't you the one who was saying that like your dad always had like a science fiction paperback like tucked in his back pocket or something, like even at the line at Disney World?
Aw, that's cool. Yeah, I
Abby G
really
says,
haven't read sci-fi, so this will be interesting for me.
Abby G says, okay. How about a show? Nicole says, how about a show with books that mean a lot to you, Sock? Like if your house was burning down, which
Ooh,
books would you rescue? Oh, okay.
ooh, like the
Deborah
top
says
tier.
yes. And in line at Disneyland, at a restaurant, anywhere. LOL.
Aw.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be interesting, Nicole. But like, it's kind of like top tier, but it's like, I don't know,
Okay.
more at stake.
I thought Abby Jean was saying, okay, like she wanted to say something.
No, like
And Nicole says the nightmare scenario.
yeah,
Well, the thing is that I mean, I keep so many of my books at the library that
yeah.
I have the step backs and stuff, but
What?
um,
Yeah. What about like? I mean, you could also do. I was thinking like your favorite like childhood books or books from like your childhood or
yeah,
something.
again, I don't
No,
actually have my childhood copies.
no, but like, could
Yeah,
you like
yeah,
find them at the library or something like that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yes, top tier, but I'm a Cancer, so it gets heightened. LOL.
Seen all the stress.
And now I just figuratively nodding my head at Deborah. Ah, gotcha. I thought it
Mhm.
was like, okay. This is a crazy plan, but it might work.
Yeah.
But no, it was just like, oh, okay, yeah. Okay, well,
Yeah.
I have 2 weeks to think of something,
Yeah.
and 4 weeks to spin my sticky web of getting Abby Jean to help me out next time.
Yeah, sci-fi. Because yeah,
Sci-fi.
I haven't really read sci-fi. I have one series that I think counts as sci-fi, but it's new. It's like a
Abby
newer
Jean says we
series.
could just meet up and talk recent reads and nothing else.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I like that idea. I'll think of something for 2 weeks hence, and then
Mhm,
maybe in 4 weeks' time we can reconvene and talk sci-fi.
mhm.
Oh, more comments. What Abby Jean said, low-key book club.
Nice.
Well, the thing is we wouldn't all be reading the same thing.
Yeah.
We'd be like,
Mm.
yes, I did see that Up All Night with a Good Duke.
Mhm.
B gave it 1 star.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Because I knew she said she wasn't really into it, and then I thought I heard her say like, "Oh, it's getting better now."
Yes, she gave it 1 star. I didn't want to read the review because that was spoilers.
Oh
But yes,
no, I haven't started it yet.
Nicole says, yes, there are book clubs at my library that just chat about what they're reading. Sounds interesting.
Cool. We'll
Everybody's
see.
like, I saw your vlog. I know what you said. I
Oh
know what you
no, it's a
Okay.
good thing she's not like interviewing
Oh,
the
wait a
author
second. Here
this
we go.
time.
Deborah says, maybe an episode where we all talk about our current Tackle Your TBR list. Nice.
Mm.
Uh, Heavy Jean says, yeah, B trashed it. Again, I didn't read the review because I haven't read the book yet, so I didn't want. But Heavy Jean gave it 5
Yeah,
stars.
I was excited about it. I haven't started it yet, and I was excited.
And Nicole says, what got 1 star? Up All Night with a Good Duke by Amy Rose Bennett, which is the Tea and Biscuits book for the month.
Yeah, it's a good thing they're not interviewing the author this time because they couldn't. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Oh,
It was like when
man.
they had the author on and I didn't like the book. I'm just like, I'm busy that day.
Oh
Uh,
man.
oh, Nicole didn't like it either. Okay.
But like 1 star didn't like it, or like really didn't like it, or just was like meh.
I don't know. Uh, maybe she'll enlighten us. Abby Jean says, I honestly think B was just tired when she read it this weekend. Or maybe she didn't like it. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
And she says, of course, her opinion is valid, but she never goes after books like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
she
shoot.
really ripped it a new one, huh?
Oh no.
Mm.
Yeah, she usually always tries to find like one positive thing if she didn't like it or something.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And
Okay.
I can't put my finger on it, says Nicole. What was wrong with it? I gave it 2.5 stars. I thought maybe because I read it digitally and I prefer hard copy.
Sometimes that does affect just the way you read it affects it, but
Oh,
interesting. Yeah.
oh, I'm gratified by all
Yeah,
the
we're just
comments.
talking about
I'm
PvP's
excited.
review.
Abby G says she never gives 1 star.
Yeah, now we're just talking about reviews. Oh no. But like didn't Terry read it and love it? I don't know. I thought I saw
I don't know.
oh boy.
Because
Okay.
apparently B's review was spoilery, so I don't want to read it.
Yeah, part of me wants to go like read it, but I'm also like I'm scared. Oh man.
Okay, well, I'll come up with. Oh, Nicole says it also just didn't seem like a beautiful story, but I could have given up too early.
Yeah, it's weird because
And
sometimes books like
Abby G says, I hope this doesn't color your guys' opinion of it. Give it an honest go, please.
yeah,
Well,
no.
I had heard so many good things about it.
Yeah.
I actually had
Yeah.
it out from the library a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I just didn't get to it. And then a few months ago, I found all 3 books at a library sale for like $1 for all 3 or something like that. So
Oh,
I
nice.
picked it up, but I hadn't gotten to it. And I had actually set it on my seasonal spring shelf
Nice.
as spring hopeful when it was selected. So I'm giving it a good shot. I think.
Yeah, I ended up like already had it on my Kindle from like some free stuff for your day or whatever from like a year ago. So I've already had it on there, and like I'm sure I'll go into it like hoping to enjoy it because like I don't know what B didn't like, so that won't.
Yeah. Well, Abby Jean points out that Terry enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's
there are a
what I
lot of
thought.
good reviews for it. B's review has a
Yeah.
lot of major spoilers.
I wonder if there was just like certain triggers or something in there that just like she just really didn't like, because that can happen. But
yeah.
now
And
we're
Deborah
just
says I got a copy of it in my hot little hands. Still going to give it a shot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll actually finish in time for Sunday because I haven't started it. And I haven't finished Tempt Me at Twilight
I
either.
want to finish it because I want to see if B really continues to tear out a new one. That might be kind of hilarious. But she might be a little more gentle about it when discussing.
Yeah.
Oh, Abby
Yeah,
Jean says,
without
I
spoiling,
can
yeah.
tell you why B didn't like it without spoiling it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's fine,
yes.
yeah.
Spill the tea
Yeah.
about the bee. Or not about B herself,
Well,
but
I
about
mean,
why she didn't like it without
yeah, we
having to
can't
read a
spoil
spoilery
it.
review. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh
man.
my goodness. I have the
Wow.
vapors. I have the vapors.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Well, this has been
Well, I'm
fun.
waiting to see what Abby Jean, if she
Yeah,
can
there's more. Oh,
stick around. She says she can tell us
she
why.
can. I thought she said she
Yeah.
can't tell us. Oh,
No,
okay.
she says she can. So
Oh, okay.
I'm
Okay,
curious to
know.
see.
Now I want to know. Part of yeah, because like if it's just like a certain trigger or something, like
Yeah.
that's personal. So that I get that, but
Okay, well, we have a
okay,
nice
got
big
answers.
point here. Two reasons. One, she thought there was too much going on in it.
Okay.
And two, the author has a specific sense of humor that B hated.
The humor can always
Having fun with euphemisms like Beelzebub's bollocks, for example.
Okay.
Well,
I can get that. Like if you really don't like the humor, that can really
yeah,
be grating for sure. And too
yeah.
much going on. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Abby Jean.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Okay, so I will figure out something for next time,
Mhm.
hence, and then 4 weeks hence, science fiction.
Mhm.
And let's see,
Right.
we have midweek motivation on Wednesday. I have the dentist tomorrow,
Mhm.
so I might not be at B's live stream.
Mhm.
Should be done by then, but I might, depending on how I feel. The thing is if I feel good after going to the dentist, I might go running around. I got
Yeah.
some stuff to do around the state that I don't have to
Yeah.
do tomorrow, but I might. If I feel kind of not so great or kind of tired after the dentist, then I will probably just come home and then I will be in the streams cheering myself up. Kind of
Yeah.
depends on how much work they say I need to have done.
Yeah.
Last time we had some work done, it was some stuff we'd been keeping an eye on for several years, and it was like,
Oh
okay,
no.
now's the time to take care of that. I think
Yeah.
this time, unless something really bad happened over the last 6
Oh
months.
no. Yeah. I keep trying to like I don't know, like during the bees live stream now, it's like I keep getting interrupted and there's stuff going on, and then I'm like, oh, I need to start work, and then someone calls, and I'm like, I'll just rewatch it. Like, so I like start there, and then I just like
Yeah.
drift off. Yeah.
Oh, wait, there's another comment. On that second one would be a big one too. I know there was some talk about the language and while the Duke was sleeping.
Yeah, it's like this weird balance of like, because like I like sometimes when it's like you sort of want a little bit of modern language to like be able to like read and stuff, but then there are certain things that it's like, ooh, well, that sounds out of place. Like, so it's this weird balance.
Well, I like what Alexis Hall said at the beginning of Something Fabulous, which was like, there is use of modern language that's deliberate.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. Like to give like a warning.
You mean Up All Night with the Good Duke, Deborah? She might have been. Well, she might have been talking about while the Duke was sleeping, because that was.
Is that the other one? B read the Samara Parish one. Is that?
I'm not sure. Hang on. Well, the Duke was Sophie Jordan.
Oh, it's that one. Okay.
Yeah. And Abby Jean says, "Oh." Deborah says, "Yeah, for the reasoning on that one matching up with similar dislike for what the Duke for while the Duke."
Okay, so it was like the same vibe going on.
A similar objection for
I see.
Okay. Well, thank you all for joining.
We'll see what we think of the book.
Yes. Wait, another comment? Yeah, Abby Jean says she DNF'd while the Duke was sleeping, LOL. Yeah, so thank you all for joining. Thank you, Megan, for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. This was super fun.
Yeah, I hope we can find a reason to get you back again sometime.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks. And I hope that we gave some sort of good recommendations to those of you tuning in. Do you have somewhere to start?
Abby Jean said, She
Mhm.
says, I wouldn't say it's a modern language issue, it was a humor issue. Yeah, if somebody's saying things like, by Beelzebub's bollocks, and you don't think that's funny, then
Yeah, and
that's
especially,
gonna
like,
be,
if it happens a lot and it just, like,
yeah,
really gets on your nerves.
yeah, it
Yeah.
could be grating, yeah. Abby Jean says, anyways, thanks, ladies, until next time.
Yeah.
And Deborah
Thanks for
says,
being
an
here.
absolute valid reason. It's so hard to have humor for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she adds, I'm glad I got to sneak in.
Yeah.
And then there's an emoji that looks like
Fun part.
it's a heart with eyes and a mouth and hands.
Yeah. Yeah, this was fun. Thanks for being here,
Again,
ladies,
like I said,
and
I'll have bye gal, says Nicole. Yeah, I'll have to come up with another reason to have you on, and hopefully
yeah.
Abby Jean will make the scene in 4 weeks' time, or even maybe
Yeah,
somebody wants to
sci-fi.
volunteer to just hang out and chat 2 weeks from now.
Yeah. And,
If
like, if
anybody's
anyone
interested.
wants, like sorry, if anyone wants, like, more, like, specific cozy recommendations,
Mhm.
just message me and we'll
Mhm.
match you up.
And, yeah, and if anybody wants to come on in 2 weeks' time when I haven't decided exactly what we'll talk about, but I'm
Mhm.
sure it'll be something interesting or
Yeah.
not. If anybody is interested, just DM me
Yeah.
on the Discord or leave a comment down below.
Yeah.
And,
If you need me again, I'm here. We
okay.
just chat.
Have a wonderful night, Francis Deborah. Good night,
Alright. Good
everybody.
night, everyone. Bye.
Bye.